Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, you can, madam. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Nitin Padaria, sir, who is working with the Institute of Advanced Research, Gandhinagar, as an assistant professor since 2019. He is BTech, MTech, and currently pursuing his PhD in the field of computer engineering. He has published his papers in national and international journals. He has expertise in different platforms like IoT, VB.NET, ASP.NET, C Sharp, Android, etc. He has delivered expert talk like cybersecurities, IoT on Swarnim startup, IoT with agriculture. He has received state and national level achievements as researcher, project coordinator, event coordinator, workshop organizer. So we are lucky to have a presenter like Nitin sir, and it will be a pleasure to listen to him. We will be grateful to him for his knowledge and knowledgeable webinar. Now I will hand over to you, sir. Sir, please start.
Okay. So shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for giving us such a opportunity for talk with you and with your students and all these people. So let's, without waste of time, let's start with our topic. So currently topics that given by you is IoT, Internet of Things. So what today I'm discussing about IoT, and that this is our topic and outlines. We first introduction of IoT. Second, what is the smart objects, things in IoT, data analytics for the IoT, and data which are the industry or research area on IoT security that today we are discussing. Most probably I'm just not to go to more theoretical part, but I'm just go to the practical part where we actually apply specifically our IoT and all these stuff. So these are these areas that can say this IoT is applied. And these are the areas like industry, your logistic and transportations, your disaster management, smart home, wearable devices, embedded assistance livings, like precision agriculture, environment monitoring, all the stuff that we can use our basically IoT. In this specifically IoT, that is IoT is definitely shows our issues current day scenarios. Nowadays, happen. There are lots of disaster happenings, lots of health issues when more COVID situations coming. So that more IoT is now introduced, more and more the sensors and all these stuff. We already connect with our all these devices, smart devices like your smart watch, your mobile phones. This we are already connect with the internet. So in the simple and layman language, you can say that IoT means it's connecting everything embedded with the electronics, software, and sensor to inter-enabling to collect the exchange data without a human intervention. We can say in a simple layman language, IoT, Internet of Things. So basically, we can also, like before era of IoT, this we can talk about machine to machine. This already is existing, the machine to machine talk also means there are embedded devices over there. So we do not connect with the internet, but they all are automated. So we cannot say smart, but is devices that working a smart way. So basically, which are the components is most important for IoT system? Which are components you can use? Means we can say that is a component of the IoT system. That's 4 components basically used. One is sensor, second the connectivity, data processing, and user interface. The sensor is the most important part of the IoT. Because of that, you gather and capture some of the data. Because here the main role of IoT is the data. You only just capture the sensor is only work like capture the data. Now connect that's your devices. That is the connectivities. You connect with accelerometers, your whatever sensor or that. Now after the processing of the data, because not connection of the data, connection of the sensor and get the data is not a bigger part. But after the data, what is the application? The user interface. Like you can get informations in your mobile phones, your smart devices, or whatever, web panels, wherever you can use it in specifically user interface. So that sensor in the simple we can say that sensor means your device are the key point of that help you collect the live data surround the environments, which we can say that. So there are lots of various type of sensors with perform multiple tasks part of the sensings. There are some of the basic things examples we can say is like pressure, temperature, motions, all this stuff in we can categorize like a sensor. In that IoT device, when we have talked about IoT, the practical things means what kind of you have to observations. Means observations are required to that design applications. When we start with think about application designings like web application, nano developers, whatever the applications. But where is actually a point? We can say the research point of view that or outcome, a grassroots level per where we actually useful our application. That is the most important part. So sensor is one of the role part of in IoT. That means you just want to capture all data and all this stuff. So that's we can say give the classifications like what kind of what in simple layman language you can say what is sensor means sensor is like able to measure a physical phenomena like temperature, pressure also and transmit to the electric signals. Some of the classifications we have there, we can say the passive actives, like passive sensor do not require external power source and monitor and environments, while active the sensors require such kind of source of order to work. Other classification method you can use detect like a property of mechanicals, like chemicals applications that you can sensors. Some of the sensors we have produced the analog digital signals so that we can discrete the signals that we can use in a sensor. I'm not go for the theory part of that, but we'll how to implement means how to work with the sensors. You are basic students of I think so BC and all this stuff. So we just start with some basic application, basic things. I will show you the demonstrations, and then after we discuss more and more about all this stuff. So these are the sensors you can apply in your application fields. There are lots of application, lots of sensor over that. Help of the sensor have where you can apply the specifically sensors. So there are lots of applications like rain sensor, heartbeat sensor, IR sensors, touch sensor, humidity, smoke, gas, LDR, ultrasonics, soil moisture, humidity. So in there are lots of sensor are available in the market. So you can use one of the sensor and you make us on applications, simple applications as a student level project. Then up to industrial project level, if you want to transfer that scale model, prototype you can convert to the specifically in a different data. So like if your component that means if you just like you can use our sensor and sensor that means these are the like you can build up things of with using of three components. Like one is a part of your sensors. Like we just like you just go to with your car and you can get the capture the data, your locations, all these stuff. This data captures, it's gonna connectivity, they connect the data and store in some of the your database, your clouds, or whatever. And there's a gateway, can say in the data store. In the data stores, you can see all the stores in the data. Then after there are some analysis, user interface means feedbacks, or you can what kind of after the getting data, what kind of you require interpretations, or what you can use a specific data. This is the help of the component we can use. But what are the applications in IoT applications? कौन सी है which कितनी टाइप का है? So बोल सकते हैं हम लोग ट्रांसपोर्ट लॉजिस्टिक we can use our IoT applications. We can use like smart grid management, smart monitoring and electricity, smart city. Now the smart cities concept is very popular in the market. Smart buildings also there. There are fire safeties, home automations in the smart buildings. Smart cities like smart parking sensors over there. Waste management, you can say. Public safety, your all these cameras nowadays. You heard the word in the newspaper like AI-based cameras over there. The findings, each alarms like that produce if you are not proper follow the rules, traffic rules that. So these are the one of we can say part of kind of the case say that's IoT. Consumer wearables, key sensor, trackers. If you like track your keys and lots of application over there for consumer base. Also industry, all the industry and automations over that now industry IoT 4.0 is also for like processing and control and maintenance, monitoring, all this stuff. In the part of the environmental, like specifically for environment monitoring, now they come to floods over there, now disasters. So it's predicted now after the capture last 5, 6 or 10 years data, and they predicted what happening the next upcoming days or years, or what kind of environment changing, all this stuff. You can get kind of that with help of environmental applications. Agriculture now they drones and all are introduced nowadays with the help to the agriculture precision farming, like climate change effect, because weather effect is more most of in agriculture, because India is a agriculture country, you can say that. So some of the now smart tracking over there, like milk supplies, dairy milk products over there. There are a large amount of uh, use of the transportation logistic chains over there in agriculture, vegetable supplies, all this stuff. And all this stuff you can applicable in the right. But nowadays we only people are, when we second that is agriculture, people said weather forecastings, smart irrigation system that will focus people day per day, all we can say usable that. So is that one of the part we take, like suppose we just take a smaller part is agriculture. So where we actually implement agriculture in the specifically in IoT. So you're a figure, that when our grandfathers is doing some irrigation, something like that, and after all time innovations, new innovations are upcoming, lots of things are introduced, lots of technology upcoming in the market, then but obvious the coming to the water pump. Then after nowadays people use smart drip irrigations for the like save waters. Nowadays it's very problematic in for water management in particular agricultures. So that in the water management, specifically in agriculture, in its irrigations, there are smart irrigation systems nowadays applied. More device can easily work with your mobile phones, or farmer have to not to worry about all this stuff. Even though nowadays very smart devices are available in the market in IoT in agriculture specifically for that, based on the soil moisture levels, weather forecastings, water stress management, the plant disease detections. Based on that, they are also given fertilizers, crop management, which we can say is a package of practices type stuff that will be applicable on a impact in IoT, basically in irrigation IoT. So in the various point of view, I just take only simple like one application in agriculture, so that's why. So there are lots of IoT agricultures available, like diagnosis disease, drone based on that. Now the our government is introduced very drone technology over there for the agriculture specifically. So automatic spreadings through the drones, variety, fertility, right? Because a crop is itself we can say it's a science. So based on that soil parameters, nutrition value, so based on that how much required plant, what fertilizers, all this stuff you can get through the IoT. Even the crop yield analysis nowadays, governments is required a huge amount of data that for upcoming the wet how much cold crop yield in particular regions, or if there any effect or not, like disease management, all this stuff. Water stress is also one of the biggest issue nowadays, because water management is required for smart, because overwatering is also damage to crop, all these stuff. That's why same things like smart data means after the yield predictions, getting yield cultivation harvesting time, you just collect the data and comparison previous and uh, previous data, all this how much the cap or what kind of suggestion of the crop, all this stuff nowadays in the field of IoT in agriculture. So these are the basically field area they can you can also work in specifically for that. So let's start with not to go through the basically we start with the how to build application IoT. So that's one of the I just give the small example how I knew I think aware about some of the soil sensor, all this stuff. So how does work with soil sensor means you just want to put one sensor over there. You will take Arduino. So in this college level we can say that how do we build applications. So it's simple basic things. We take one sensor. We can use we can use you can use a soil sensor, just put in the pot or like in a whatever you was filled, you capture the data, you check the threshold value, and you can date. And this is one of the small examples that I have performed simply. So that means you will get the based on the value you can say is my water need or not typical plant. So just like you just set the value according to the your requirement. So these are the small pictures. So now how we'll build applications or how it's work. So basically small it's like there is two forks have props in the soil sensor like this one, and you can this connectivity is like residents over there. So whenever you drop the the water, the automatic resistance or this stuff like minimum, maximum completely. After resistance power drop out, automatically you give the signals. You may build the application without any kind of no connect, not like mobile phone or this stuff. You build small applications with the embedded system with Arduino. You will blink lights with the water required or not, something like that. So how it's build, how we build the application. So this is the every sensor. Like when you make an application, I would simply these are taking up from internet all this data. So it was understanding purpose simply. So this means there is a diagram of that how to connect. Like in the practical things, just you take soil sensor. We require Arduino. I will later on discuss about Arduino also and all the sensor one by one. But these are simple examples. We just want to how to connect. We just take one soil sensor. There are two connections. One is power supply with power on data. Or for or your last slide I just discussed that there are different kind of sensor classifications. This sensor you guys are modules. That means you collect some data and the data will connect means this line in the module. This is the module. So modular what happened in that there is two things: AO analog signals and digital signals also there. So based on your requirements, you just connect with the pin code and you write some of the code. If you when you write the code, you will get based on your code you can get information. Like suppose this is a simple code. This is the simple code for the how to get the soil data, or you can say is whether we want to like uh, uh, we want to like uh, whether required or not required, something like that. So these are the after getting with data record. Like means we want to right now currently suppose example you install the Arduino software or then your PC and laptops and you just applicable this data uh, code, write a code and you will get a serial monitor output. So this simple I have write a codes like define the pins define Q converter because of the reason behind it. You just want to say that in the particular structures. That means this is the my pin I connect this my sensors and we just want to like in the based on the sensor we just like we can say simply based on that define the values and you get to capture the data from the uh, uh, sensors and you will see the result in a like a here in serial monitor. Same thing, this is a demo code. Same thing of like humidity temperatures. Now there people are lots of uh, build application whether my room temperature and all this stuff using mobile phones. I use web server all this stuff. So this is one of the these people in the figure that use ESP8266 node MCU and the sensor is DTH11. And node MCU is one of the part of Arduino. Now is using like web server include Wi-Fi module. So this is the simple modules Arduino Uno. But where you can use a smart nowadays device is very small, the cost is not high. So you can buy from the markets and do yourself. It is very best application how to implement my small thing uh, sensors and do get the result all this stuff. So these are one of small examples. So how these are one of the simply you just want to in every sensors and all this stuff you require some of the libraries all this stuff and then after based on that library or based on that you just write a code and you will get a temperature and humidity. But this is the example like that. This is a you know you data like we can say the component of IoT in that you can use a user interface or gateway. So you just like collect the data, then after what? After collect the data, you just want to like send the data over the network. So that in the node MCU the work on ESP8266 working so like in web server node MCU. That means this is a example. They first connect the node servers. After connect server, you get the some IP addresses. You just enable. You can connect your Wi-Fi hotspots or through the it's by default hotspot created by node MCU. You just connect your mobile phone with the node MCU. You already got the IP address over there and the IP address you return in your browser and you see there are lots of applications you build up. You make an Android application also. You will get the data in specifically in web browser also. So that simply way just write a code and you will get temperature and humidity. This is some demo things. So, but suppose example, let's I'm do one more things. Currently, if you have no devices, so there are lots of websites and all the open source applications or some of portals are available to do the practical. So let's show the demonstration to practical approach, how to you can simulate the IoT of the ship. So just give a minute. So there is one application, I think so you know about Tinkercad. Sorry. Am I visible my screen?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Yeah. So you open this one Tinkercad. Tinkercad
Yes,
is
sir. It's visible, sir.
visible. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So you just want to create a this of one of the some you can say the demonstration of like simulation, one kind of that. You cannot buy like devices, but you can do perform this kind of applications over here. So the Tinkercad, you just first of all login. So if you are not login, then you can create login. It's a free of course. So let's I have already created my account. So I just enter my So I just click on a circuit. There is lots of things available, but we just only focus right now currently on Arduino. That's why. So Arduino, yeah, I don't discuss Arduino and Uno and all this stuff. Arduino used for like people build the application for particular education level purpose. So we just here click on after you log in, register yourself, and then after you create a new circuit, click on circuit, create a new circuit, click on circuit. Then here the sensors and all this stuff are given. Let's we take today only simple applications, simple stuff, how we are like LED blinking something. So we just only take first simple Arduino the simulations. Now in that every Arduino there are some LEDs over there, inbuilt LEDs over there. So you just first click on start simulation of this thing. Here you can see over there is some LED blinking by default. When you want, if, so that means this is a predefined code. That's why. But if you want to change your code, all this stuff, like this is the code. You when you click on the code, so you know white juniors, all this stuff are given this kind of I think C. But we are right now focusing with the specifically our code. So if you write over here, I stop the simulations. I just go to the my text, not for clouds. So this is the simple code written in a C++. So this is pin mode. Pin mode means is a inbuilt LED inbuilt. So my LED is already inbuilt over there. Then this is a loop functions. Setup means you first set up output. So आपको कहाँ पे output देना क्या चीज़ है? You write in a pin mode. And coding is not a big deal. Not to worry about write a code. Code is available in the Google. So you can just copy and paste. But just apply in applications. So simple. In that you loop means continuously you are working with the data. So these right digital right LED built high means उसको blink करना है. Then after delay, then after low means off. So and delay is a 1 second, 1000 means 1 millisecond means 1 second. When I start the simulations, it automatically blink after 1 second is low, high. So it's constantly in the loop function, they're constantly working that. But now this is inbuilt LED. Now what I do have to try to for similar same thing. Now I just want to write like I take LED. I cannot use inbuilt LED, but this is I just LED. I put my NR plus in any pin, like I just give pin number 8, just drag and drop simply. Just drag and drop, an easy way to do this one. Then after, cathode means a ground. I just try to this circuit. Then after, I write some code. So now my LED inputs, now I just remove and I just try to my pin number 8, and this is my pin mode like I just write my pin mode. And I start the simulations. Sorry, I missed it. See, my LED is blink, starting the blinking, everything. So what I have tried to here demonstrate is simple way, just start the simulations. You can now after this comfortable with this all using this kind of sensor, using the sensor applications, then you apply on a physical devices. This sensor cost is not much high, Arduino cost is not high, but this is a, if you are interested, you can do this kind of practice in a Tinkercad also. There are lots of tutorials available in a Tinkercad. You just apply different soil moisture sensor, photo sensor, ultrasonic sensor. Now based on the sensor, how to apply? Suppose like let's take one of the in smart agriculture applications. Now if I take small applications, like I want to check my field, my farm field weather. Like I want to getting some parameter of temperature and humidity. Then I have to require some another things like my soil moistures. Then I can use DTH11 sensors for temperature and humidity. I can use soil sensor, and one more I can use the ultrasonic distance sensors. Nowadays, na COVID time, there are lots of people using up different. No, basically, sorry, ultrasonic sensor people even using blind people. That means using the in the streaks, motion sensor distance, automatically blinking the distance. You set the like distance, whether object is coming or not. That time you can use apply a specifically ultrasonic sensor. You can apply ultrasonic means you can measure the distance with the objects. There are lots of sensor over using that specifically for build-up application. So this is one of small demonstrations about specifically for you can write this is on a practical mode. Okay, you use this kind of sensor and you build the application. Similar, same things. Now go to the my slides. So it's visible. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the practical approach, things like that. You just how now we have some questions. Sir. What kind of application we are building using IoT? There are lots of sensors available. If you want to make applications, you first focus on a problem. Then once again, we have Raja sir, how to identify the problems. Simply the problem identified by the observations. And you just want to observe, you will get the definitely problems over there and how to resolve the problem. But when we get the problems, our observation is always required a powerful. After observation, you will get definitely some of the problem solutions or easiest way we can do the application like that. But that applications or whatever you have to conclude, that will apply on a grassroots level and very nominal cost. Always we are focused with the specifically grassroots level issue we can also resolve. Without grassroots level implement and its application like a demo and a prototype, something like that. So now we come to the another part. Like sensors we are discussing now. What is Arduino simply? This is a heart. We can say now when we think about it, people always say the Arduino boards are required, ESP8266. Nowadays in the coming part now, people you can use the Raspberry Pi over there, same fundamental. So basically Arduino. So the Arduino is a, like a open source platforms used for build electronic, any kind of projects. There are designed specifically for the open source purpose. So like it's like your program circuit boards, like they refer is a like you can say is a microcontroller, and some of the ID, you can require ID for that implant software, means put your code into the Arduino, and that you can write in code in your Arduino ID. Then after you plant in a specifically in the board. So these are the board diagram. This we can say is a simple Arduino Uno. This is the Arduino Uno board. There are some digital pins 1 to 13, analog pins A0 to A5 over there. There are power supply module over there, 3.3 to over to 5 grounds. Transaction resource point over there, jumper settings over there. You put a code for the USB, you connect the USB and give the power supply to Arduino board and transmit your code into circuitry. And then your code is easily to execute. After that, you just connect with the computer and your board is treated as a like working whatever you have planned in a code. Similar, so that the based on that, this is the pin diagram for the board of informations. What kind of use for the serial communications? If you can specific using a sensor, so that time you can use a 0 and 1 this pin for transaction receiver for serial communications. These are the digital pins signals over there. uh, some of the pins for the IC communications, the reset version over there. There's a crystal oscillators, there's a power supplies panel over there, there's an analog pin, and this is the ATME mega 3 to 8 my circuitry. That means you can use specifically for programming all this stuff. So these are the simple thing about the Arduino board. Now another board nowadays people use inbuilt pro, because we have iPhone to like gateway component. We can say so I want to transfer the data over the network, all this stuff. So here you can use also Node MCU. You can play the GSM modules or Bluetooth module, all this stuff. But this is a pre-built, very small. So ESP82 is, we can say, is a Node MCU. And the Node MCU is basically also open source platform based their designs, and that they transfer through the Wi-Fi protocols, all this stuff. So we can say a protocol is a set of rules, but protocol means in any things they'll connect with the set of rules. So means there is no worry about anything, all this stuff. Just plug and play. You write a code, and the data will transmit through your web server to your clouds, all this stuff. But it's required internet connectivities, right? So that we are now I will show you a practical approach how to connect blink LED using Uno. And this is the simple code that I show the practical. Same things. If you want to measure a humidity temperature, this is a simple. This is a pin connection for pin VCC data and CN grounds. You VCC for the power supply. You just connect with the 5 volts data pins in the 2. Provide a ground. In the help of this diagram, you will get a data in a serial monitor, temperature and humidity. This is the smallest code for the how to get the humidity and temperature. So now these are some IoT fundamental things about this. Now what is now IoT strategy of research? रिसर्च कहाँ पे अप्लाई होगा, कितनी बार कहाँ जगह पे होगा, इनोवेशंस कहाँ. तो these are one of the simple things in applications. We can say either you can go to research in a technology area, in a software, or in application. If you want to like research based think about that, means there are lots of things available in the market. But the thing is with the like nowadays trend of machine learning or applicables with the IoT data, because it's a very required thing. Data is always captured, but what is the next step after capturing the data? What we do the next? Simply like that, there are lots of services research over there, like smart energy over there, smart parkings. These are the, we can say, is a application based. But in that application, there are lots of stuff. Like example, say that very good things in our India, that means now after India reaches 200 crores vaccinated people, right? So that the data is, the government will collect the data, and what is the impact? That means the nowadays we are very safe after getting the vaccinations. But when we data they collected, the data some of they apply the machine learning tools and models, and they find the impact, how much they are useful for this stuff. Same thing. Some of the people sometimes we can say is we go for the research, sometimes we go for like applications. In the industry purpose, we both applications after like design such kind of new things, new way, like you compact your devices, you are to capture data, getting the data in finalize some give the predictions over there. Like you can say in a simple way, suppose if you want to build you buy your own applications, like you can design a smart home. So you build through that, it's very easiest way. Now the code is available in everything. So like uh, you switch on and switch off your electronics, all these equipments. But if you think about a research perspective or some innovation perspective, what is a new design innovations? Like when I have to, my lights, electric, my tube lights and all this stuff are automatically. If we think about innovations, so based on the light amenities, means based on my day and night, my light visions up and down, all this stuff. Uh, my fan speeds based on my temperatures, my outdoor temperature and indoor temperatures, things. Now, what kind of simple layman way to find out research in particular innovation application? That means you continue collect the data. How much time my lights is on, off, my fans, my ACs, and all this stuff. Then after you think about after getting some of data, chunk of data like 1 month data, 2 month data, you predicted up to next how much electric consumption in my home. Now, how do I save the energy? Simple way. So there is simple thing of research. That means you getting the 1 month, 2 month data, you apply something, tools, techniques, models, and you will get such kind of things. Yes, yeah, how to after 3 months we are last month we consume this how much this number of units. After that many units, but we required how to design a specifically model. So that means I get the predicted means what upcoming next my bill and all this stuff. So this is things of these various field of that smart health, smart takes, smart car, smart lighting, smart grids, smart home, all this stuff we are to find out the innovations and research, specifically in IoT. So after that, research and innovations and the get data. Now think about data analytics for the IoT. So this is the most important part. So that's why I have written this. The real value of IoT is not just connecting things, but rather than the data produce those things, you new service you can enable to where those connect things and business insight with the data can reveals. And it to be useful, so data need to be handled, vetted, organized, and controlled. And now in the world, the creation of massive amount of data from the sensor is common. One of the biggest challenges is not only from the transport perspective, but also data management standpoint. The huge and chunk amount of data we are getting through the IoT sensors. But now how to analyze the data? Analytics data means we apply a specific tools and techniques and all this stuff. And we what kind of scenario, what kind of things we can use to input in data analytics. So this is a simple thing. I just will give the introduction. But what is the benefit for IoT analytics? So like we can say in a simple flexible scaling to business, need for expansions with the new market, reductions in the operation cost, automation in the for the particular industry, reductions of operation cost and from the automations and better resource utilizations. In a simple way, we can say that like we take some of the example like nowadays uh, uh, EV cars and scooters are available in the markets. So there are some battery consumptions or running area, all this stuff. You some of the apply some of the things, automations over there, or like you can collect the data from battery consumptions for the EV cars and scooters, all this stuff. Then after, based on data, they are no improvement of the machines and all this stuff, the health of analytic data and all this stuff. New revenue streaming resulting from the clearing operational challenges, whatever, quicker solution from the accurate pinpoint of problems after analytical data. Uh, no, quicker resolutions for issue with preventing the recursions, enhance customer experience, like based on analysis of purchase histories. Nowadays, most probably people's online buying and selling, lots of things happening. So why the data consumption means consume the lot of data, and you analyze the data, and you will get the definitely um, customer experience on this stuff. We can more relevant product developments. We can develop the products and problem solving to the help of specifically in IoT analytics. Now, what are the challenges? Means security challenges, issues in IoT specifically. So when every think about design, development, and all this stuff, the risk means the challenge in IoT. Now the IoT security is now they are coming a very growing for the research thing. So these are some of the few like vulnerabilities, malware, cyber attacks, information theft, unknown exposure, device mismanagement, misconfigurations. Nowadays, now what happening like that vulnerabilities. Now, one of the best example you can say is cyber security. All this is point of view things. So there are some of the vulnerabilities over there. No, we cannot say every device is vulnerable, but what happening sometimes we don't know about like device mismatch config or context of vulnerability. We have never ever change almost 90%, 70 to 80% people not change root password of your wireless Wi-Fi or your device or system admin password. The admin password always remain 123, 123, or even the 123 like that. So what happening? Somebody people are entering your devices or a system and might be hack and attack and whatever they do different things, different era, different way. So these are thing of happening with the devices. Also malicious behaviors, malware and malware malicious activities perform the task for that. Means no, I think so. Here a couple of last month people are now their one advertisements popular with like guys smart smart they wearing the smartwatch and they clean the car glass and just deduct the amount. So this is the simply example that is not like happening with that, but the some kind of example of that how to know uh, device minimized or misconfigurations or vulnerability over there, or like different way to design attack happen with the devices also. So these are the some security challenges and in IoT device and all this stuff. So also we think about and the based on the security perspective or in the better applications, we also take one of the example another if you want to make such kind of applications like I just discussed since IoT agriculture over there. So now this is a one-way communication of it. So the like now what kind of research in IoT agriculture we are apply not as only smart irrigations, but you think about uh, ill predictions nowadays is a booming ill predictions, uh, pesticides, pest management control systems, because there are everywhere there are using a specifically application oriented there are required certain kind of no equations means some of the data over there, like we can say ill prediction. So how much parameters we require for prediction ill predictions, like we can in simple way uh, for the pH pH value of my soils, water pH, my humidity, my temperatures, my fertilizer data. So particular crop they require certain kind of tables over there. So how much required NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, like all this stuff. So based on the plant requirement calculation, you build some applications. So some kind of small application you design, and the based on the applications you make a such kind of IoT framework for grassroots level. That means you just put a sum of data. You will say that okay, in this particular area, this kind of crop are given a good yield, or for that environment happen, like there are lots of moisture, in soil moisture and humidity temperature is vary for 1 and 2 days, and that might be happen viral infection over there, viral attack on a plant. So this kind of applications you build in a for specifically agriculture also. You design lots of applications, but your observation is required. Means you want to find a problem for particular field, you require some observation. So that means that I have discussed about IoT applications, IoT, practical science. How do we basic things about Arduino sensors? We're discussing about something about analytics. We discuss about some of the securities. We discuss some researching all this stuff. So I think so. I'll cover my topic. Thank you so much for giving this kind of opportunity to talk with you. Now, any question answer, please?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, please, ma'am.
So, sir, they want to know what are the economic impacts of the increased applications of IoT.
Nowadays, as per the specifically, if we can see the impact of the IoT, all this stuff. Nowadays, research say that data website said, in the 2030, IoT devices stores round figure about $1,000 billion nowadays. Goes the business. So IoT, I think so, very useful for the industry impact for that.
Yeah. One more question, sir, is how IoT can be used in education?
Nowadays, after COVID, people know that in a smart class, smart class management, attendance management, you can education implement so various things of application designs. Even though not like a smart blackboard, smart class, all also, but you can also think observations very apply a particular IoT. That means nowadays people using your mobile phones. Mobile addiction is now one of the biggest things in the market. So you make such kind of applications for your smart device applications or smart things for in educations, how they impact different way to your mobile phone use for in education, different era like that.
Yes. And last question: what is the extent use of IoT device in recent times?
Sorry, but I just break your voice, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah. One more question, sir, we have.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. One more question. How does IoT influence the development of smart cities?
Nowadays, looking at smart cities in that one of the biggest now that our honorable prime minister said that Swachh Bharat. So smart waste management system you can apply on particularly in our smart cities. Public safety nowadays is most important part for smart cities. Smart cameras, air cameras implanted over there. So there are lots of things for you can use use for smart cities like the stuff.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. It will be very helpful to us and our students. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
May I leave?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.